management of Rhema Word Broadcasting, Rhema Gospel Radio Incorporated, KOER LP-FM, its affiliates, and or the staff and volunteers of these entities. Please direct all correspondence to the appropriate company's website and or business address. Welcome to the Parenting Connections radio broadcast with Dr. Tyra Hodge. Dr. Hodge is an author, speaker, the founder and president of Parenting Connections, whose mission is to strengthen families. She has been an educator for over 15 years, and Parenting Connections is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. Now, let's join Dr. Tyra Hodge for today's radio broadcast.
Hello. It's been another long week, but I thank God that I made it today. How you doing today, Cyprus and Houston and all over the world? I have a special guest today in live streaming with me today. I have DJ RAS in the house. How you doing?
I'm doing great. DJ, but I don't think I would insult DJs by calling myself one.
But you are one of our local Houston rappers. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Well, welcome to my show. Welcome to the Parenting Connections show. I'm so excited about you. My friend Andrew, who was on the show last week and has been on the show before, he called, he let me know about you. He was so excited. He's like, this man has a wonderful testimony and I want to hear it. And my listeners want to hear it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Drew been a good friend of mine. Seemed like forever. Been probably a little bit over 10 years now. Or a little bit under 10 years, somewhere in that 10-year range. But you know him, great guy. I became captivated by Drew because, you know, he off the wall. You know, when he didn't look like Drew when he met me. I put it this way.
Was he skinny?
Well, and then when he felt like I wouldn't judge him, that's when he pulled out the cowboy hat and all that stuff.
He's really like your brother to me.
With me, you ain't got to fake, bro. I want you to be there, man. We down here in the South anyway, right?
And that's who he is.
That's Drew. That's Drew.
So you've been a rapper for over 23 years. Is that correct?
Actually, 25. 23 of my career. 23 of my years were as a Christian artist. The other two was mainstream.
Okay. And so who did you used to run with in Houston? I don't want to really date myself.
Yeah.
And
we were
the Houston scene back in the 90s and stuff.
Before I became a Christian hip hop artist, I was in the first wave of Houston hip hop artists, which was like, you know, that Ghetto Boys, ESG, UGK, TGC, Trinity Garden Cartel. That was my class.
Wow.
You know, the other ones came up under us. So, you know, by the time you know, we got our own identity nationally, I was already a gospel artist at that time.
So you were running the roads and everything. So tell me about the transformation, you know, being in that scene, and then how do you transform into a Christian rapper?
You don't. I mean, God has to transform you. As a rap artist, all I can take credit for was speaking the truth. And so it wasn't like I wanted to become a gospel artist. I'm a gangster rap artist and I want to become a gospel artist. I gave my life and heart to the gospel. And when I began to make my music, it turned into gospel music. You know, that's what it was. In other words, I just made music out of my heart.
Okay.
It's a formula for it. If you want to become a Christian or a gospel artist, give your life to the Lord. That's how you become.
Right. And so I tell my kids they have some talents of their own. And they'll be back there in the room and have their little makeshift studio and everything. And I tell them, I said, God gave you this talent. Why can't you make something for the Lord? Make something that I can play to people.
Well, what you got to do is with your kids, you gotta keep the opportunity in the job, but you don't want to force feed it to them.
Right. And
Because,
so,
the words say, a faith the size of a mustard seed grows up and becomes huge. A little leavings leaven the whole lump. You put a little bit of that word in there, eventually it grows up and overtake the rest of it. So, you don't want to force feed them. You just want to dump that option in there, and eventually they don't grab it.
So, this show is about families.
Yeah.
Tell me how your transformation, but first let's talk about the transformation, because I feel like you probably had to come to a point to where, you had to realize that, the only way in life was with Christ.
Yeah.
How did you get to that?
I had a real interesting testimony, as we would say in church. When I gave my life to the Lord, I was at a time where I was doing really well. I was about to actually get a major deal and become a national artist. Doing really well. And God just, if I could describe it, he took away my peace. And so I'm doing tours. I'm on tour. Actually, I'm doing some shows with MJG, 8Ball, Mystical, Master P. And in the midst of this, where, the normal artist would be excited. Like, it's finna pop. I'm finna bubble. I'm finna become this name. I had no peace. And, with my mother being a Christian woman, I knew what it was. I knew it was God calling me. I didn't know what for, though. I didn't think he wanted to use me. I just thought I was finna die or something, like everybody thinks.
Mm-hmm.
But,
were you into the drug scene or whatever? Or
say it again?
Okay.
I didn't hear that.
Hello?
Yeah, I didn't hear you. What did you say?
Were you into the drug scene?
I was not a drug user outside of marijuana. For as a drug seller, I did some of that early on, but once I got serious about my music, that was not my thing either. I wanted to.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. But I was always surrounded by it. Most of the guys that were around me, they were not rappers. They were street pharmacists. That was once I gave my life to the Lord, though, of course all that changed.
Of course.
I made my music for, so I think that's what kind of made me a different artist than most of them. If you say Christian or gospel artist, you think about somebody rapping about the Bible or God, but I was a gangster rap artist who came out of the streets. And so when God, did his thing with me, that's exactly who I began to make my music for, the people that I was familiar with.
Tell me about your books.
Okay. One of them is matter of fact, I got one.
Let us see that.
This is my autobiography, of course.
Oh, wow.
How I became the godfather of Southern gospel hip hop. This one, unreleased, Crooks in Law, Runners. That's for people who like novels. That's a novelette. And I also co-authored a book with a friend of mine, Every Man Need 3 Women.
Oh, boy.
But in a nutshell, the book is about how, every man needs a friend, a lover, and what I call a caretaker. Even if you're not married, you need somebody to kind of look at you with that motherly love. And so every man needs them 3 women. And when the one that can find those in one person, you blessed or lucky or whatever you want to call yourself. But if you're missing one of those things, eventually you go out looking for it. and which is what causes a lot of men to be, cheaters. So
Okay.
it's a quick read too. It's about 86 pages.
Okay.
Yeah, but me
Okay.
and my Larry, shouts out Larry Davis. That was my third book. I co-authored with him.
And so, talk a little bit. Also, talk a little bit about your organization. What you doing?
I have several organizations, of course, I'm in control of. Davo Records would be my flagship because it's the oldest, and that's the label which I produce my music through. On all my masters, I also have produced a few other artists through my label, Javo Records. Harrison Company is my media company for its videos and marketing material, not just videos, but print material as well, audio material. That's my second one. Only Voice, me and my wife, where we go out and we do couples. I would call it ministry, but I'd rather call it counseling,
Okay.
because sometimes before a person can receive God, you need breadcrumbs to get to him. I'll just jump out with the Bible on everybody because some people, they it's a big piece of meat. It's too much for them. You got to chop it up. And Only Voice, that's me and my wife. And I got a couple other things. Bougie, which is my clothing line. It's inactive at the time. Got a whole lot of stuff going on, but them are a few that pretty much eat up my time.
Okay. Well, make sure after the show, make sure you send me all those links so I can make sure that they're in all the descriptions and everything, so people can get to it. So,
Fine. If they hit at Lil Raskull on any site, they're gonna see this face right here. If you Google me, Lil Raskull, you're gonna catch me. I'm gonna be the first name pop up. I earned that. I worked for that.
I bet. So, tell me about your philosophy on raising kids. Come on, tell us something new. Tell us something.
You know what? I came from, my mother raised me right. My pops loved him to death, but he wasn't, for whatever reason, he wasn't there in rearing me. And so God is funny, and I can't talk about parenting without talking about God. God is funny because sometimes when you need something or you lack something, instead of God giving it to you, he makes you become that.
Wow. Okay.
And I always used to before I got married, and a lot during the course of my marriage, raising my kids, I would reflect back to my own childhood and talk about God. I never had this, and never had a parent. And I look up, I never had a father, rather. And I look up, and here I am, the father of four. And to say all that, answer your question, I learned parenting from the Holy Ghost and on the fly, and that's the recipe for everybody. Because some people may have very stiff parents and grandparents in their life, and you can go to these people and get advice and wisdom on how to rear your children. That wasn't the case for me. It was God, the Holy Ghost, and me just paying close attention to my kids.
Yeah. And I work with students for a living. This is like a blessing that I get to do the radio station once a week and everything. But I see lots of things, and we always talk about kids, raising fathers. Well, ask, where's the father? And some of the most tragic situations or students with the most behavior are actually the students that are lacking that mother figure. So, you have some issues with and a lot of times the students without fathers, they'll end up being all right. It's not best, not best case scenario.
It's not meant for a child to be raised without a father, but I don't think no kid becomes completely healthy without that motherly instinct being involved in their life. I agree with you on that.
Absolutely.
Very few people who grew up without a mother, and you don't see the effects of it.
Right. And the Lord, throughout the last 10, 15 years ago, years or so, has been using me to mentor moms whose moms were not in the picture. So I find that
Wow.
kind of interesting.
Wow, that is heavy. That is I know that is a handful. Not to if she mentoring you, I don't want to make fun of y'all ladies, but I know that's a handful. I'm not a female, so I don't know the woman experience, so to speak. You know, men is easy. We kick around logic, right? That don't make sense. All right, move to the next thing. But women, y'all deal more in the emotional realm. So I can only imagine your task, Doc. I can only, I take my hat off to you.
Thank you.
Dealing with guys without fathers is easy. You know, you break them down. It's not easy, but you know, I'm used to it. You break them down, but I couldn't begin to understand a female who has, you know, lacked the mother in their life. I wouldn't know what you deal with.
But you know what? It's not just the females, you know, that have those issues, that not having that mother figure. It's the boys as well.
Yeah.
And so,
yeah, I hear you. I hear you. That's good.
And so, you know, tell Cypress, and I don't want to know what that feedback is coming back from. And so, tell us some of the other things that are on your heart. What is God doing with you right now?
I'm in you know, they call it in America the empty nest stage, right? This week, if it wasn't for the hurricane, which probably ain't stopping anything over here, I'm pushing two of my kids back to school. One of them graduated college already.
Oh, congratulations!
So I'm in that phase in life where, you know, my wife's still sexy. So I'm like, shoot, I'm good. You know, I still look good. I'm like, well, heck, this. It look like I get to live again now. You know, so
vacation.
But I'm excited about focusing on outside of myself, because raising 4 kids was such a, you know, it took a lot, and to be an entrepreneur and you know, and raise 4 kids, that's a full plate. Anybody tell you RAS rarely answers his phone. RAS, you know, I could text all day, but I'm rarely answering phone calls, because parenting and doing what I believe, you know, what I'm supposed to do for as my career has took up all my time. But now that parenting thing is lifted, I'm getting ready. I'm excited about being able to get out and do something more other than just for myself and my family. You know, I can use some of that free time to concentrate on some other people that I believe God, you know, wants me to help or mentor, as you would say.
Okay. So what are some of the things that you're looking forward to doing, you know, outside of raising your kids?
That's a good one, because, you know, my career as a rap artist, you know, I'm older now. So, you know, I will never stop creating, but to believe that my greater days, which is, I don't even want to say this because I'm a member of Lakewood, and Pastor Joel always say the greater days ahead of you, you know. But I mean, my greater days as a rap artist, I don't think they're ahead of me. I think they probably behind me. And so what the future look like for me as being able to, you know, still stay involved with music, you know, I don't know. It's a mystery, you know.
Are you raising up some young music people?
Oh yeah, I love the music business. I know it. You know, it's more than just a feeling. You know, when you're good at something, you're gonna always be around it. But Houston has not been a place that's, you know, too receptive to the music business, so to speak.
So we all, you know, if you're Christian, it's like Oklahoma. If you're rapper, it's East Coast, West.
You got to make your way out of here. You know, everybody who has a you know, a huge name out of Houston, they had to go somewhere else and solidify their name, and then, you know, we embrace them here in town. So I don't know. I don't know how much of that can occupy my time. You know, I think I may grow larger than that, and be able to do some other stuff as well.
So are you continuing to make music and
Yes.
put it out there?
Yes, I got an album coming out this winter. I wanted to make it this summer, but the whole pandemic thing kind of got in the way.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's the name of the album is called the Don Roby album, and it'll be out this winter time.
Okay. So I'm trying to think what else we need to talk about, because I want people to know you. I want them to be calling you. So do you speak to youth groups?
Yes, I speak to anybody who will listen. Pets, youth groups, whoever will listen. I think for as public speaking, it may look different when all this is over with. I think it will. I think, we probably will. I think this whole pandemic thing gonna push reset. I think it's gonna restructure what we believe is important and what we believe and who we believe we need to listen to. So, I'm definitely prepared. I speak to anybody, Bo. That's the long version of saying I speak to anybody. Anybody who feel like I have something to deposit in them, they can give me a call.
So what is your takeaway from the whole pandemic?
You get all these sayings, and it's happening on election year, and so we can just like spend the next 3 hours on opinions and what you think. I tried. The Bible say, "Blessed is the pure in heart, for they shall see God." And I felt like, if anything, God shown the world that how easy it is for Him to arrest everybody and their attention.
Oh yeah.
How easy He can send everybody home. How easy He can kill technology and everything, all this stuff we think is important. How easy He can just, bring all that to a halt if He wants to, and for whatever reason He wants to. So that's my takeaway from the pandemic. I mean, we read about this stuff, right, Doc? The plague hit Egypt, we read about it, but I've never seen it. Now I've seen that, and it hasn't got it worse. A whole lot of people have died, and I don't want to minimize that.
Mm-hmm.
But this has been enough for me to say, man, God, if you turn that thing up a notch, you probably could knock out the half of the population. It's just that easy, And who can help? It's been almost, we looking for vaccines, but the truth is, if God turned that thing up a notch, man, half of the world could be eliminated. So,
who can stop the angel of death?
Yeah. We men, we billionaires, we technology, we electric cars, we doing stuff that's never seen before, and God don't change. And sometimes we feel we can be more cocky, or we too cocky for Him. I think the pandemic it's shown me that, hey, how easy God can change something.
You can. I mean, none of this has happened before.
Right.
So everybody was in new territory.
Right.
But we know that God is still in control.
Right.
I know this. I know that I got some much needed time with my kids.
Right.
I believe that we could talk a little bit more. Right. I got sick of TV. I got rid of one bad habit.
Right.
So even though it was horrible and people did die and people are still scared, I think some good things came out of it. And, I kind of like to look. And matter of fact, if you're watching right now, if anything good came out of this pandemic for you, go ahead and post it in the comments. And if you have any question for RAS, please put it in the comments so we can answer those for you. But, sometimes God will say He's going to do a new thing. And whether it's a China virus, or whether most likely, God may have His hand in it. I don't know. But it shows who was faithful.
Right.
It shows where our faith was.
Right. When it hit, or when they began to speak about it, and when it became, when it started to become more serious, I prayed about it, and I didn't. You know what God told me?
What?
Nothing. I didn't hear anything.
Wow.
And I feel like I'm a mature Christian, so to me that meant keep living, man. Ain't no special instructions, and that was for me personally.
They
Again,
wouldn't let us keep living. They
keep
shut everything down.
and my family has not suffered any losses, or we haven't skipped a beat. And I don't want to make light of that because I know plenty of people who have been affected by it.
Right.
But my saying that to say this, when I prayed about it, God just in His own way, He let me know that it would be no harm to me.
Right. That's awesome.
And it was some harm to you, man. God is able to restore anything that was taken from you. To know that. So.
Yes, and then pay back with interest.
Right.
One thing which is, kind of sad, I think I'll be doing an interview tomorrow. I don't want to let too much out of the bag because I don't know where it's going, but I was contacted and they want me to talk about, the harm that, shutting everything down, that it's been on students, and parents. And so I do know this as an educator, that sometimes the meals that kids get a day, and it's a true story, that they get a day is at school. And then for whatever reasons, and then, with all the abuse and everything that went up, whether it was domestic abuse, CPS reports, just different things that went on during this whole thing. And I pray that God exposes all of it. I pray that church, and so I feel like, I pray that things continue to get exposed, but I just feel like, for some of us that took this time to get to know our kids again, without all the busy and bustlings of the whole world. But then there's those to where the pandemic probably wasn't too good to.
Right. It's weird, and again, I heard all kinds of people talk about all kinds of things, and as when it comes to like conspiracies, but I have seen just so many random effects that has come from the pandemic that I know, I know some people that lost 2 or 3 people very close to them. I know some people that went in and recovered from it. And I know some people, myself, who has, life pretty much has remained the same, and I've not been touched by it at all. So it's been random enough. I've seen enough random effects to know it's nobody sitting back controlling this thing. This thing it's a pandemic. It's whirling through, the people in the country, and when we, eventually we'll get antibodies and vaccines going. But for the last few months, man, it's been random enough for me to believe it's a pandemic. It's a random event. It ain't man-made, and it has affected the complete world.
Right, the whole world. Yeah. My heart, I just pray that, an outpouring of the Lord, His love, and just pour out on America, not just our world, everything.
Right.
So I believe that the Lord shut down churches that didn't need to be open. I believe that He raised up home churches that needed to be started.
Right.
I believe that His perfect will is going to be done when this is all said and done. I believe Satan is throwing a temper tantrum,
Right.
Trying to stop things that can't be stopped. You can't stop God. You can't stop God. And so, but as Christians, we are still called to pray.
Right.
We're still called to pray. We're still called to do, our civic duties. But ultimately, I'm hoping that people are waking up. I really do. I hope they're waking up, looking at what's going on, look at what's being said
Right.
through all this,
Right.
and I just
Right.
hope that they're waking up.
And the world is changing. I mean, the world is changing. I think if you don't want to take any philosophical takeaway from the whole pandemic, then I'll just give you a carnal, material one. The world, as normal as we know it, has changed. I
You
watch
don't
a
think
lot of
it'll go back? You don't think it'll go back?
Say that again.
You don't think it'll go back to the way it was?
I don't know. I'm not saying it's not. We won't experience normality again. I'm just saying we're gonna go back to a new norm. And I tell you why I say that. I watch a lot of business news, Doc, and they had Mr. Wonderful. I don't know if you watch Shark Tank, but Kevin O'Leary, Mr.
Every now
Wonderful.
and then. Every now and then.
Bashing him, Kevin, they was bashing him because of how rough he is. He was saying how he lost 20% of his portfolio, meaning businesses, 20% of the businesses that he owned, they gone.
Wow.
And they went back, and he made a good point. He said, think about somebody who has birthed a restaurant, and over the course of the time from conception to right now, they've placed $10 million, and then it's over now. Their restaurant is closed. They have no more business. When we able to take these masks off and go back to society, they're not going to do that again. They're not going to go back and put $10 million back into a restaurant and open it up. Some of these places, they're not coming back no more. Some of these people have put sweat, blood, and tears into their business, and their habit to just come to a halt right now. They tired. So when we go back to what we call normal, we're not going to see some of these places. Some of these people going to continue to order their groceries from the shopper that can drive
Right.
Some of us, it's going to change. The normal will change from now on. I believe Apple is swelling. Amazon is swelling. Amazon is almost at the place where you can buy it online right now and it'll be at your house, if not today, tomorrow.
Yes, I was surprised about that. I mean, I ordered something.
Now we see shopping malls. Some people are not going. I don't want to go to a shopping mall ever again. Push the button at Amazon.
Yeah,
We don't know is what I mean.
I love Amazon. I love it a little bit too much.
Yeah.
And so nobody ain't got no questions out there for us today.
I wish I could figure out how to go live on my Facebook. How to go live with them able to see and hear you as well.
Well, mine is supposed to be live. For some reason, last week and this week, my Facebook Live is not working correctly. It's on YouTube and it's on Periscope, and we can share it from YouTube, and you'll be able to share that. And so, well, what else? Okay, so leave us with something good. Leave us with some stuff, some wisdom, some.
Since this is parenting and the parenting connection, I love that vein because out of all of the stuff I was able to accomplish this far in life and whatever else I got coming up, I think my most prized possession and the thing that I'm most proud of is my kids. So I want to encourage you, if you out there, you might be a single mother, cuddled up with your kid that won't stop crying and you feeling like this is, how did you get there? And you may feel like the worst feeling in the world. You may be a young man who picking up his check on Friday and you got like $50 because child support. Then ate up the rest of it and you wondering when, man. Let me tell you this, man. I remember when my firstborn was born, I was serving the Lord and now he's graduated from college. And I remember when my youngest kid was born and now he's getting ready to go to college, man. It'll pass. My point, man. Rearing kids is difficult. Providing for kids can get challenging if you don't have a good, source of income or career, but it'll pass, man. And, You get to look at the kids, and the kids go to college or go on and be successful, have other kids, and you realize that it was all worth it. So I just want to encourage the people that's out there parenting, whether you're a champ at it or you feel like you suck, just keep your nose to the ground, and one day, keep one foot in front of the other, and one day, it'll be past you. And the kids are your prized possession. The Bible say they are our arrows, so we shoot them out into the world, man.
Okay. That's good. That's good nuggets. So what about the struggling parents? What do you got for the struggling parents?
Same scenario. I tell people all the time, when it comes to birth and death, if God was a university, the wing that has birth and death, I don't know what's down that wing, because I don't go down there. I don't know why God would have some people born and certain ones die, and what timing into that. I don't think we can put a logic or a science behind it. I've seen some of the most unworthy people, I believe, have some of the most beautiful kids, and I've seen some people not be able to have kids, and they the most genuine people. So if you're a struggling parent out there, know your child was sent to you for a reason.
Yes.
It came through you, or the seed came to you for a reason. Young lady, if that's you and you're struggling with deciding on keeping it or not, God will send you a child to activate those motherly genes that he know you're going to need for the next stage in your life. So think about that before you make a decision, that you can't reverse.
It's funny you say that, because with my kids, I have 4 as well. And so my older 2, they're going on 23 and 22, and then I have 2 still at home. And I tell them, the having kids saved my life, because I was out there on the streets, and and I know with my second child, my oldest girl, I was pregnant, no place to live, walking on the streets looking for some shelter to where I was going to sleep, but because of them and that God, I was allowed to get pregnant. That helped. It gave me something to live for, something to fight for, something to change for, something to do better for.
And that I have, that's a God move. That's something that's a formula that he sees. Man cannot see that. You cannot show me somebody who's out here wild and skid row dangerous and say, all they need is a key. We wouldn't say that. They need 4 keys. We wouldn't say that. We'll be like, keep kids away from that person.
Right.
They irresponsible, and God will look at that person. All he needs is a key.
And then he took it a step further. He put me in education.
Remember I told you earlier, God you will become what you need. He's strange like that.
Yes.
Pray to God, like, God, I need a house, and you'll look up and you'll be building somebody else's house. I don't know. I don't see that. That's the type of wisdom when we talk about is beyond man with, and that's what keeps me in love with God, because I'm just, that type of stuff intrigues me. You get cars, money, all that stuff that make us happy, man. But just God's wisdom intrigues me, man. That's what keeps me in love with him.
He's God. Who can understand and how it all comes together to work out? Because I was the worst student there ever was in school, not behavior-wise, but academically. I struggled. Was dyslexic. Couldn't read. Till I was like 10, and pretty much was held back twice in elementary school, and then somehow, some way, some shape and form, he puts me in education, to work with students that are struggling, and that need that extra push and that encouragement and that extra help. And
you can see why, right? You can see the benefits, because somebody, yourself and somebody else coming from that same situation, you can look at it, you took nothing for granted. You know, you can look back and remember when, and myself as well. You know, I have a college degree, but I was not academically inclined, I believe. I'm not a straight A student. I'm better. When something interests me, I will probably become, I'll probably become a straight A student at it because my passion is what's driving me to learn it. But if you bring me something, like school is, they'll bring, you got to take a course in Eastern politics. You like, I have no passion to learn Eastern politics. I would get F's. I got F's on my transcript in college because some stuff I don't care. It wasn't for me. I don't know. I can't get excited about this, But other subjects that I got a passion for. I do really well at. And somebody like coming from your background, you seen it, when you wasn't doing well in school. So you able to spot that student that's not doing well.
Absolutely. I'm able to spot, I'm able to reinforce the skills that they may need, and how they, different ways of how they may need to study or a different approach or how. Now with math, I'm horrible with math. I run from math. And, but when it comes to helping somebody read, I was given that gift to help somebody read or help somebody read better. And so, and also I've learned that sometimes you have to meet some basic needs before you can get the learning going. Because if the kid's hungry, you can't learn nothing when you're hungry. You can't.
That was my issue in school. Now, looking back in hindsight, I do believe I have the intelligence to. Because my youngest son, tell you this, Doc. My youngest son is like he graduated from early college, high school. So he got his diploma and his associates in business at the same time. And then he got an academic scholarship. So I look at him and like, man, that came out of me because only time I got A's in school was art. Somebody say, great job, RAS, you're an artist. Okay, can we skip the English and the math then? But they didn't do that. So
Right.
Yeah. See, academically intelligent, I'll be that. But he's not an artist at the same time, though. So,
there's different types of intelligence, and some of them is the artistic, intelligence. Like I have students, that can write. For the last couple of years, I've been making them write in journals.
Yeah.
And so, one of them, he thought I was going to be mad because he wrote his whole journal in rhyme. I'm like, dude, this is money.
Right.
This is straight up money. I was like,
that's one thing college brought out of me, though. I didn't know that was in me, was the ability to write. And you get a student, on grade level who can discover that they can write. Man, that is so valuable because what is writing but communication, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And the better communicator you become in life, the easier, some of the challenges are that may catch up other people. I don't want to say life is easier, but you will have less challenges the more effective communicator you become.
Yes. And so I also teach students how to communicate appropriately.
Yeah.
Students do what they see. And so since I've always worked in Title I areas, and so they, some would be like, yeah, Doc Hodge, oh, she gangster. No, I'm not gangster. I don't even play like that at school. It's just that I know the game and I know the streets and I know why you sleeping in my class and you didn't go to bed, And so, it is.
Kids want to be disciplined.
They do.
Yeah. Freedom is knowing boundaries. People think freedom is not having boundaries. The truth is freedom is knowing what the boundaries is. So you're able to not, trespass against
navigate them.
Yeah. And that's what kids need. They need to know how far I can go. I better wake up. I better do something. I can't go in Doc Hodge's class, sleep. She's going to be on my, they need to know that. They need that, That's
Mm-hmm.
going to turn into some type of other responsibility later on in life. You know.
Yes. So, I pray for them. So do you come out to speak to schools?
Yes, I do. I do it all. You probably never crossed my path because I'm not a very bullhorn type guy, and I know I'm in music and entertainment. I'm supposed to have like billboards on the side of Beyonce, but I'm not that type of artist. I'm just, I believe because my music affects people's livelihood, it's best now to just try to promote it like it's normal. I I move throughout where I'm needed, and I'm not very loud, when it comes to promotions. That's probably why, we probably never crossed paths being in the same city. People who know me love me, but
Right, but we don't get a lot of hip hop, Christian music on our radio on the radio, and so that's needed. And so that's why I'm so grateful.
Man, I just spent 23 years in Christian hip hop, and I'm like, we'll complain about all kinds of injustices, and I'm like, but yet artists like myself, not just me, but other artists who push morality and the good things that are needed in the fiber society, but we show that no support. We show a little support.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like oxymoron to me. We clap for the fireman, but we are watching Desperate Housewives. I don't understand society. Either we gonna love this stuff or we gonna hate it, man. Do we want integrity? Then why is the stuff that shows lack of integrity so prosperous? I don't get it sometimes.
Right. Sometimes I think that God wants to keep us in check, but I don't know that. That's just Tyra logic. But I just feel like, when I listen to the music that comes out of here, I'm like, why isn't this everywhere? Why isn't it everywhere? Because what's on the regular radio stations now, that's nothing for my little my 4-year-old grandbaby to be singing. I mean, it's
let's break it down, dog. Let's get real for a second here. If you teach, this, the brain does not fully develop until the age of 25, right?
That's right.
Why do we take 18, 19, 20, 21-year-olds and elevate them up on the stage and they talk about drugs and sex all the time? They haven't even fully developed here. But these are the people we place in leadership, not leadership, but on pedestals.
Yes. For
our kids to follow. I don't understand that either. I don't understand that either. It makes money, I guess. That's why we do it. It makes us money, and we can buy another yacht and whatever. I don't know.
And it's all about money. Not for me, of course, because I am an educator, so there's not a lot of money in that. But for a lot of people, it's all about those Benjamins, and and I hear my students, they talk about, to make money. And so I always challenge them. I said, within 2 weeks, and I believe that the Holy Spirit will do it for them every time. I say, within 2 weeks, you're going to come to me with a dream that I believe that God is going to drop in your heart of some type of future you can have that has nothing to do with drugs and alcohol. And so you're going to come tell me what that is. And time after time after time, they would come to me with amazing ideas,
Wow.
Things that can make them good livings. Ma'am, I want to own a mechanic shop. You know what? I see you owning 10. And so, and so because it's there, it's there. I'm about to have a conversation tomorrow about the politics that they're playing with our kids right now. And so I'm surprised anybody listen to me really, but, and so they want to talk to me about the politics that they're playing with, our immigrant children, and the politics that they're playing with our children's education right now. And so when all about, elections and voting people in and voting, trying to keep people from being voted in. And they're playing games. They're playing games with education. They're playing games with, and I am a firm believer in rules. I'm a firm believer in borders, but don't play with these kids.
Right.
They're already here. They're already here. They ain't going nowhere.
Right.
Give them what they need to succeed in America because they're not going anywhere. Right. So I had a student breakdown last spring, right before we left for spring break, because his heart actually is to work in a plant. He sees one of those big plants, he gets excited. This is a 16, 17-year-old, but he's like, Miss, because I'm illegal. I can't get documentation. No kid should have to be worrying about that in school. They should not have to be worrying about that. They should be worrying about their education, but yet our students have real life issues and grown up problems that that gets in the way of their learning. And so hopefully, I'm hoping that the Lord have me say the right words, because I'm so sick of the politics being played with our kids. Shutting down schools over when 1 in a million or hundreds of thousands of kids the corona could be deadly to. Right. When they're safer at school.
And something else that's really dangerous, and we're able to something I witnessed right here in Houston with us getting ready to deal with the hurricane is that when media take advantage of people's attention and excite certain events beyond normal, you stuck with this the boy that cried wolf syndrome, because I'm walking around and I understand we getting ready to experience a major hurricane, but I don't see a whole lot of extremity in the city right now. And I can't help but to believe that they didn't juice our emotions so much that we just don't believe nothing else could be this worse. No.
That's funny. I never thought about it that way.
I'm walking around and I'm like, I'm seeing supplies on the grocery store shelf. I went to HEB last night. I thought it was going to be nothing out there, but it was like whistling people.
That's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid that I'm going to go to the store because I haven't had a chance to go and that there's not going to be anything.
It wasn't the case last night, and it made me think about maybe people they just do not believe the severity, and we've been excited-sized to the point where we tired of it now. You can't skip it anymore. I'm just gonna buy my little bag of chips and if the storm hit, it hit. I hate that's not. I hope that's not.
Yeah, that's cool.
But I wouldn't blame them. You constantly on TV. Me, oh, this is detrimental. Oh, we gotta vote this guy. Oh, we gotta do this, to the point where it's like I'm tired of people putting on my emotions, man. I'm just gonna, remain normal.
Yeah. All right, Roz, we gotta shut her down. I want you to speak. I want you to speak a word over the listeners. I want you to bless them out. And I want to thank you for being on the show today. Y'all, his information, you go to his page. I'm going to post his information in the description. Click on him, help him out, and see everything that he got to offer, all his stores and books and music.
All right. If you're listening today, you're watching, I don't believe in coincidences. I'm a man of God. I know Doc is as well. God does. He uses people. Often when we don't know we're being used, or if we know we're being used, then it's our job not to get in the way. And I say that to say this: if you're listening, and this is the Parenting Connection Show. If you're listening, please tune in to Doc later. Find me. I believe we're two successful parents. If it's about parenting, if you listening and my life intrigued you, something about my life intrigued you, and you want to know more, please get in contact with me. I bless everybody in hearing my voice. I think God has a purpose and a reason why you are here on earth. He has a purpose and reason why you're listening to me. I think he wants to activate the purpose in your life. Anything you ever dreamed of and you wanted to accomplish and it was good, it was something virtuous in it, it's because God showed you that and he wants to get you there in your life. So give him a try, you know. Don't run from him, run to him. The way is through him, it's not away from him. So, you know, I bless y'all, bless the listeners, bless everybody who checked out the show. Next time y'all see me on here with Doc, man, y'all free to ask me anything. My life is an open book. I'm willing to discuss anything that goes down in my life. And happy you're having me, Doc. And appreciate being here.
Thank you so much. You take care. And we will see you next week right here on the Parenting Connection show.
Thank you for tuning in to the Parenting Connections radio broadcast with Dr. Tyra Hodge. We hope something was said to enlighten and strengthen you and your family. If you have questions, you may reach Parenting Connections via email at info@parentingconnections.net. Join Dr. Tyra Hodge next week for another powerful broadcast.